Hello and welcome to the Shogun Social Media Podcast. This is episode 9. We're getting a few into this now. Every week we go over the world of social media, trends, new stuff, things we like, things we hate, and things that you can learn about social media to grow your own channels. We have me, that's George. We have
Freddie.
And we have
James.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about our favourite stuff and our most hated stuff in the world of social media over the past week or so. So, Freddie, what do we have first?
Kicking things off on my favourite subject, which is football, of course. Twitter recently released basically a helpful pack on how brands can dip into football, but basically the World Cup, less than 90 days. And one of the things I want to highlight, first of all, is in the UK, there's one tweet every second about football. And basically, they released a helpful pack full of stats, basically encouraging people to tap into this, World Cup big event, rather than saying, you don't have to be a sports account, you don't have to be a football business to tap into this. But my question for you guys is, do you think that brands can jump into this, or do you think they should, have a step back?
1,000%. Yeah. I think brands need to get better at riding the wave of what's trending, because that's really the most natural way to use Twitter. Twitter is just governed by what's happening in the world. Yeah. So if you're not going to bother jumping on the wave and riding it, what's the point? Like, you might as well get tongue in cheek with it. On Twitter, the tone of voice of your brand should be like authentic enough to allow you to do that. And if it's not, then you've messed up somewhere on the line, because you're like a press release account. You're not a Twitter account in that way. So, yeah, go full force. Make memes, make jokes, cry with all of us when we eventually lose, unless you're the Lionesses, in which case you kick ass. So, in that sense, use it.
Funny you should say that. I saw, actually, Sainsbury's did a tweet where it was Swede, carrot, lime, as in Sweet Caroline. Obviously,
sorry.
Obviously, the Lioness is winning, but that's a prime example where a brand came on a trend, took advantage of it, smashed it.
Too much overthinking.
Yeah,
usually.
Twitter more than the others, James, you're right, because Twitter, if you think of the practical elements of Twitter, it has the trending tab, not just a button down the bottom. It's like, it's straight away, it will say, here is an entire section, we want you to have an opinion on this. I mean, there's a button down the bottom, but clicking on it, it's a topic. Whereas looking on the kind of explore tab of Instagram, it's photos. Twitter says, topic. What's a topic? Here's a topic that you should have an opinion on. Here's something that's happening right now. It's going to be used 100%. And you're right that it's the most reactive platform.
Yeah, I'm like imagining any brand that has worked with influencers should have been all over the KSI double fight at the weekend, because like literally you can make any excuse to like want to just do like, I wonder if our last influencer would be funny fighting another one. Like, why not? It would have been hilarious. And if you ride that wave, like the amount of people that jump on the clout of those events, especially YouTube boxing events, have no intention of ever fighting, but they just use it to get the reach. That's what it's all about, mate. It's what it's all about.
Yep. I personally am so on board with this weird craze of YouTubers fighting each other.
So good.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
I think it's insane.
Yeah. Brings me back to, do you remember I think it was like a claymation of the celebrity death match?
Yeah.
It was like robot chicken style.
Yeah.
That's what it gives me the vibes of. But genuinely, some of the body line transformations are really impressive.
It is. iDubbbz. iDubbbz did it.
Yeah.
And he went from being like quite a skinny guy to like reasonably toned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does a lot of physical health, and everyone always comes out of the back of it like better. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure Logan Paul, his entire career was rescued by that fight, because he had an excuse and redirected the heat that was on him, and has cleared up his act since then. So he's not the hated brother anymore. But
That's very true.
There's a whole podcast on that. But yeah, man, it's all fun and games.
Have you seen any more examples of the brands doing that at all?
I saw one where they've done their sweepstake. Everyone picks a team out of a hat.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a good way of humanising it, just showing what's going on in terms of the office. But I think it's too early for brands to jump on it, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. First time in the winter as well, because it's in Qatar. So something really different, see how brands get on.
Yeah. When does it start exactly? What's the date?
Less than 90 days. It's in November.
Okay.
Middle of November, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe that. And interesting, do you think that it's going to be different now being in winter in terms of the social media content that's going to be out?
It'll be interesting to see how that goes. There'll be like Christmas campaigns going out alongside this. I think it'll be really interesting to see if maybe they'll collab. Maybe someone will do that.
Oh my God, we're going to see the Christmas ads. We're going to see a football Christmas ad, aren't we?
John Lewis.
Yeah, John Lewis.
Yeah,
football.
about to say you better adapt to an event like that, because otherwise your Twitter reach will take a hit, because the reach will be stolen by the current event. So, and I tell people this about Twitter all the time. If there's something going on, like if it's the Love Island final, say goodbye to your analytics, because no one cares about what you're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
Like, so you might as well hijack some of what's going on and bring it back to you. It's more fishing in a better pond, if you will. Yeah,
and Freddie, in this update, then were they saying here's how to do it, his step-by-step guides? Like
there was just stats. So one of them was if you've tweeted about football, 29% of people that have tweeted about football have since tweeted about women's football, for example. I'm not sure how they obviously measure that, but that's a prime example of, there was one that they had in there, which was a Heineken advert, and it said no one, in brackets, no one talks about women's football. And it was a stadium full of packed, spectators. So I think they just provide stats. I've seen something similar, which they released about 2 months ago, of an overview, but they're clearly prepping people. Like, this is coming, get your act together.
Yeah, right.
100%.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, it's strange how many things, Twitter, the Words app. Yeah, it's also the most, I don't know if it's the most busy statistically, but it's the one where you watch it for the most reactions just from words. It's strange, and it's not. It doesn't mean that it's the most simple one at all. If anything, it's the most complex, because it just has incredible attention. Yeah, because if you're not tuned in, you're completely out of the loop. Like, you have to be in the loop. Like, it's instead of trying to bootleg the KSI fight, I just went to Twitter, because I'd get most of it anyway, and I'd get all the funny reactions to it. It's very much like, the reason streamers are even a thing, or reaction channels on YouTube, is because we actually prefer almost watching it with someone. So Twitter can be that for the spoken word if you are reactive enough, and if you give yourself the brand leeway to do so. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, good stuff from Freddie. Is it because James is taking the place of Amy now? So what's the latest trends, isn't it? James, do you have a trend for us from the past week, or something else? It's trend/news. I see. And this is mostly from the YouTube world this week. So there's a couple of things. One, there seems to be, this is Twitch as well. There's a worrying increase in the amount of swatting incidents at the moment. So for those who don't know, swatting is literally when you call the police and say there's a bomb threat on a streamer's house. So you can catch a reaction live on stream and watch someone get raided by the police. And in America, that's not a safe exercise to do, as we all know. So it's like, I think Ludwig got hit with it recently, and he's one of the top 10 streamers. iShowSpeed happened to not long ago. There's loads of people that it's happening to, and I have no idea why. Because it's essentially doxing someone as well. Somehow they found your address. Yeah, scary. So that's terrifying. And I just don't know why it's on the rise. People think it's funny. Maybe it's a new generation discovering that swatting is a thing, because it almost ebbs and flows in terms of how it happens. But it's just, one, it's disgusting. Two, people have died from it in the past. It was like last year, someone died from swatting, because they will just burst in and start firing shots. This is the States here. So, sorry, States. So, in that sense, it's just worrying. And then YouTube's also been in a ton of hot water. A creator called Corey Kenshin. So for anyone's in the YouTube gaming scene, plays a lot of horror games, plays a lot of all kinds of games. One of the biggest black creators on there in terms of the gaming scene, 14.1 or 0.3 million subscribers. He's no small fish. Plays right up there with Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, all of that. He's had this really clear case of either YouTube favoritism or racism, which has been really interesting. So everyone's been playing this one horror game right now called The Mortuary Assistant. Yep. That's like, I just watched Markiplier's playthrough the other day.
Brilliant, right?
And Jacksepticeye's.
I think I watched Jack's at first. Yeah. And then obviously I was like, oh, sweet, Corey did it. But I was like, why can't I find Corey's video? So apparently when Corey uploaded his immediately got age restricted for no reason. Now, this isn't an automated filter, because when he appealed it, they said no. Bearing in mind that every major YouTuber had their Mortuary Assistant playthrough up. And the reason they gave is because it was like, they play with mental health and suicide, and it's a horror game. And he was like, but everyone has the same scene. Yeah. So why are you doing this? So he had to get right on the phone to his YouTube rep. YouTube rep then appealed it to the appeals team. And then they looked at it again. This is like the third time they're looking at it. And instead of just going, oh yeah, sorry, they decided to age-gate Markiplier, because he cited it as an exact example. So, and then he went back and was like, no, that's not what I wanted you to do. Like, I wanted you to just carry on and say, it's just a normal fucking video. But now it's clear that whenever it's specifically Corey that they keep picking on. So obviously because he's just as big as Jack and everyone else, a lot of people don't know his name, and it's because he takes more breaks off of YouTube. But when he comes back, his numbers hit big, and he's always in trending. But they always find a reason to get rid of him on trending. So the last time he was on trending, they found a video from a year ago, and they decided to age restrict it, so he went off trending, put a strike on his channel. And it was like, why do you wait until I get big and then slap me down all the time? So he just came right out and said, like, look, this is straight up racism or favoritism. You got to pick one. And I was like, they got caught with their trousers down their ankles, to use his words, because it is true. Like, and they haven't said anything yet, but it was really clear. And that video was #1 trending for like a good 2-3 days. And I have no answers for it. It's pretty fucking obvious if you ask me, because if you scroll through the top 10 or 15 videos, there ain't no black creators or Asian creators or anyone else at the top of that list. I was like, seems suspicious. All from the mortuary system. So YouTube's in hot water. And of course, their usual method of dealing with these things is to hide away until it goes away.
Yeah, do nothing.
Yeah, YouTube do not handle their PR very well or their transparency. And I'll never understand why. Like, I know they're always under like heat for something, but all you have to do is be honest.
Yeah, it might come from them being owned by Google. And that's, the monolith of dominating the world, so maybe that's why.
But when you have creators that have 14 million subscribers, you can't mess about, because
terrible.
they will galvanize someone against you, and action only happens when they send an audience after these people. And it's like, why do you have to wait for it to get to that point? Your PR team must hate you for constantly not letting them take action, or they're terrible because they don't take action. And like, just because you're a large corporation, you can't hide behind it when it's very, very obvious what you've done. And this is for so many things. It's not just racism and favoritism. Like, YouTube just do not communicate. And I don't get why, because any other platform does. You look at Adam Mosseri on Instagram. Like, there's no excuse for it. They're under just as much heat as YouTube is.
Yeah, they do try to put these kind of like facades up where the CEO...
fake actions.
Yeah, Susan, I forgot her name.
Wojcicki?
Yeah.
She
does these interviews with YouTubers like twice a year. She'll do I
where
sat
they
down.
Probably like told them things they can and cannot say.
Yeah. So they make it look like they're caring, but the classic thing is that YouTube says nothing.
Do you think that swatting, I think you said it was called, has gone up because have you seen the Netflix show? There was a whole Netflix show based on this. It was about streamers getting hit and people calling up. I can't remember what it was called, but I watched it a few months ago. It was on the trending, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's so dangerous.
That like that might have directly done it. Actually,
someone was saying on there that they literally, like James said, burst in and they actually shot someone's family member as a joke. That
must be what the story I heard was based off of. Because a lot of these streamers, like with big streamers, like Ludwig is massive. So this has happened to him 2 or 3 times already. So he wasn't that bothered about it the third time because he'd been there, done that. But he'd given his number to the LAPD and was like, if you get a call about my house, just ring me because you'll be able to just look on a link and I'll be streaming so you can tell I'm not a terrorist. And they still just like run through the door and sweep his whole house. They looked at his attic and then one of the police officers like just fell through it because a part of it wasn't like ready to walk on. So his whole house was just like covered in insulation from when they're like sweeping his house. Oh, for God's sake. Too fat and had too many donuts or something. Classic American police officer.
That's a strange problem to have.
And he's just there like, my roof is caved in. I've just been swatted. And he's just back on stream. Just like, why is this happening to me? Yeah. So it's just such a weird phenomenon. I'm like, where'd you get the time? I even understand hate comments more than I understand sending a literal armed militia after a streamer.
Of course, yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, hate comments are a whole podcast on their own.
Yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, maybe it is people watching Netflix and going, "Oh, I can try that. That looks easy," or something.
Very complex subject.
Yeah,
right. For 55 minutes, his house got searched. He's last 55 minutes of my life I'll never get back. But also, you could die, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have guns. They have big machine guns and stuff.
The thing is, when they did it to, it's getting back to the racism territory, when they did it to iShowSpeed, who's like, you probably see like the guy with the crazy dreads and stuff, will throw him up on screen. But like, he was like in handcuffs outside his house. Ludwig wasn't. Right. Okay. He does make a big fuss and like his whole thing's just being like overreactive and stuff. So, you know, it's just so much danger involved. It feels so icky. It just goes beyond hate to just actual like malice.
Do you think that Netflix show fueled that fire?
Maybe it does it for a lot of stuff. I want to see what impact Tiger King had. I want to see what impact Tinder Swindler had.
13 Reasons Why.
Yeah. So does things in that bigger popular culture increase? What would Tiger King do? Tiger attacks, like husband
opening
murder,
opening up zoos.
Yeah, opening up zoos,
breeding big cats.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sales of tigers, I bet they went up.
Yeah, big time.
That must have been it.
Especially in the States.
Yeah, no, that's very horrible piece of news. Well, I've got something very nice to say about a creator, my creator highlight of this episode. I've showed it to you, Freddie, before. M&S Macclesfield.
Oh,
shouts out.
Big up.
M&S Macclesfield. Actually, I got it on my phone so you can see, James. So M&S Macclesfield is a Marks and Spencer run account. It's their official.
Yeah, boy.
It's the official TikTok account of this one store in Macclesfield.
I can already see Colin on it. Mate.
Yeah, Colin. They love Colin. They represent Colin all the time. But what I love about it is that it is 100% just pose like a creator. They don't try to like have the M&S like logo in it. There's no branding. They have their shirts on, their fancy Marks and Spencer like vest things. But other than that, there's no branding. There's no kind of like compliance rules they follow. It's just the staff at the M&S Macclesfield filming themselves jump on a TikTok trend with like vegetables or Colin the caterpillar or whatever the stuff. And like
Percy Pig's repping it on it.
Yeah, they have like regular people. So I don't know her name. There's one lady who does it all the time. Yeah. And then there's like a few other regular people that like they're jumping on memes. So they did the Little Miss thing. Yeah. There's the one going around of he's a 10 but.
Oh,
they've done that, but with like items in the shop where like Colin the caterpillar, he's a 10 but his box is
slightly defective.
Or something, whatever. Or Percy Pig, she's a 10 but this box is bigger. I don't know, whatever. But I just absolutely love it. And I really do look forward to all of their videos because it's just so positive. They're not even, because, they're there to work, they're not trying to make the social media this like legit serious thing. They're there, they're shop assistants. They work in the dairy counter. Yeah. They're in the meat, like they don't care about, they're doing it just for a laugh.
They have other ones as well. I don't know, have you seen other M&S accounts?
I don't know. This is the only one I know.
I'm looking at their main food ones, M&S Food. And for step, they have copied Duolingo.
Okay.
Like I can see it now. There's nothing but Percy Pig uniforms here. And, that's fine to a certain extent, but there's definitely more that can happen. So they're using Percy Pig as the personification for that account. We'll probably throw up some visuals on the screen. So, yeah, but there's no individual flavour and people in it like those accounts are. And I find it so funny how sometimes the most successful TikTok accounts or social accounts are always run by the people who are just boots on the ground. Always, you just get it instead of it having to go through like 10 levels of sign off before you can post one video. Yeah. And this is evidence all around us about how we need to remove the limiters on social so we can push harder on it, so we can make human content. It's just never done because we need to educate multiple departments. So when it comes to a store like M&S, there's going to be compliance, legal, and the overall marketing that will have a say in an individual TikTok, which will make everything nigh on impossible unless you batch create Percy Pig trends that are going to be 1 to 2 weeks late. And I don't even have to look at it to know that it's not on time. Remove the barriers or lose out. Those are your two options. I'm sick of explaining it to brands. They know what the problem is. You just need to fix it. Maybe it's an education piece. Maybe it's let's get all these departments in a room one time and have a proper conversation about this, because you can see now how you kneecap the social department that could completely revolutionize a brand if given the ability to. You just need to give them the permission, because the brands that have done it, Wendy's on Twitter. Who else is great on Twitter?
Spanish KFC.
Shout out Spanish
Innocent
KFC.
Innocent
Smoothies.
American one, Slim Jims.
Yeah, Slim Jims.
I'm not even American, and I see them on random Instagram comment sections. Not even their posts. I just see them comment on random posts.
Ryanair, yeah. I mention them every episode.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's like such a difficult thing now, because any time limiters are removed, accounts do amazingly well. What's a surprise there? So just do it already. It's 2022. The world's going to end. It's all going to the Great Reset. You might as well give it a go. See what happens. It might actually impact your brand positively.
Yeah, looking back, there are a few of these Percy Pig ones as well on here, but it's just a like little cloud. Mostly it's just people. It's people messing around with the products in their shop. And they've got 1.3 million likes and 18,000 followers. So that's not...
It's nothing to sniff at.
No, that's not small, but it's also not like groundbreakingly huge.
No, but I guarantee you Macclesfield, their likes are probably quite close.
Sure.
Without spending a penny, because I know full well a lot of that is paid ads.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that me personally, if I was in Macclesfield, I'd go to this store. I'd definitely go to this M&S shop and try to meet them.
Especially if they put the names of the people that work there on there.
Yeah, I think they do. I just
because like Joey or Sarah is a legend, right? And you go there for that. Like, I can't. I wonder if Joey's at the till. Like one of those ones. It's such a stupid reason, but I guarantee you that would help galvanise people.
Yeah,
because a lot of what retail's facing is an experience issue. It's like there's a reason that stores like IKEA are flourishing in the current times, and then every other store isn't. It's because they've created an experience that's worth going to. IKEA's a date idea. M&S isn't, right? So
that's so true. I used to go there.
Yeah. So what else can you do to add to the lore of it? Your missus does not go to IKEA.
Yeah. Oh no, she does actually. She really does. She really does. I was about to ask, like, when you say date, I was thinking kind of like romantic, but of course it's just fun, isn't it?
Go to the old take for a meal out with the calf in there.
Feed each other meatballs in a romantic lighting. Yeah.
Quick stop in the bedroom section.
When I lived at home, I just used to be like, "Do you want to go to IKEA?" Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, "I'm just gonna live." Yeah. I was just in a bedroom.
Yeah, fair. No, I totally. Yeah, I agree. It is a good place to kind of like go as a couple. It really is. It's just funny to think of as a date idea. I've never.
Yeah, even family days out really, because kids get to plan at their bedroom. You get to revitalise different. It makes sense, and that's why they create this labyrinth. But not many places have that amount of space to create that experience. I've always wondered why, like, warehouse style stores, we all know the ones we're talking about, don't think about this stuff more. You have a hangar for space, and yet you choose to just do these massive 1-ton aisles that no one cares about. I'm sure that's helpful for some bits, but I feel like you could shake things up a bit because it's obviously not working the way it is now. So get a shifty on.
Yeah, very true. So M&S Macclesfield, love you guys. And we'll put some of our favourite little clips on here and tag them. But for now, we're going to look at some hot takes. So any kind of random little things we've noticed over the past week or so. Just anything at all. Here's something weird on social media that I've noticed. Freddie, what is it? What's going on?
Mine's a marketing collab, as always. One of my favourite things. So Lacoste, the clothing brand, has opened up their first cafe, right? So it's basically Lacoste and then collaboration with Man vs. Machine specialty coffee roasters, right? And you can go to this cafe, throw up some images online. You can get coffee, obviously, polo shirts, crisp white ones, and one-off collaborations between these brands. I'll show you guys, but I'll throw up on screen as well. I
like the green.
Yeah. Nice
and again, that's their thing. Yeah.
I just thought it was so bizarre.
Yeah, that's just reminds me, oh God, of those series of cursed images where it's like a photo of an ice cream parlor, and there's a sticker that says WhatsApp. It's like a green WhatsApp flavored ice cream.
Oh yeah,
that's what that reminds me of. Like, why would you want a Lacoste coffee? That's what it reminds me of. Or like, I've seen a can of drink that has like the Windows 95 logo on. Windows 95 flavored drink. That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, and I saw it. It's a one-off, and yeah, is it a sign of what's to come? 2 things you wouldn't put together. Potentially 2 things you want to keep apart: coffee and a white polo top.
Yeah, have they been posting about that on social media? Then is that how you've
just before? Yeah, they said it's a one-off. But I thought it was really, really strange. I wonder how that came up in their realm.
Yeah, what was the response like? Did you see what people?
It'd only been up 4 hours. It had a few hundred likes, so be interesting to see. I wish they could do stuff like lives and more stuff like that from there. And also the one-off collaborative pieces from local artists. They didn't say. It'd be good to see that sort of stuff rather than the cups.
Yeah, I suppose. Yes. What are they after then? Are they after a social media angle there, or is it nothing to do with social media? Because obviously they want to get people in to buy products, but are they thinking that people will come in, take a photo of their Lacoste coffee, and then post it? Maybe that's what they're going for as well.
Maybe get a crisp white polo top as well. But
it's probably it's a pop-up and cross-sell station, really, isn't it? It's like get people in. Will the temptation arise to buy the exclusive shirt that you may only be able to buy at that pop-up? You see this a lot in Japanese cultures where obviously anime is massive over there. I'm wearing a Yu-Gi-Oh shirt, but in that sense, they do a lot of like, they'll make a specific like an anime themed cafe or something or coffee shop, but it'll only be around for like a week or two. And there's specific merch you can only get if you go to this pop-up. So people make it a mission to go to each pop-up around a certain franchise. And maybe Lacoste are thinking along that lines where they go, right, it's a cross-sell machine. How do we make something that's specific to this pop-up that can only be gotten there? So you have this, what's that brand that sells that brick?
Supreme.
Can we create this Supreme separateness and like, I wouldn't even call it prestige because it's pretty dumb, but like, it's exclusiveness. That's the word I'm looking for. Can they create that via the one-offs?
They should have said that. They didn't. They just said polo shirts, and I thought I could just literally go on Amazon, their website, wherever. They should have said, get these one-off T-shirts. Have you seen their collaboration with Polaroid? Mm-mm. Oh, and they have the little crocodile, but they have it in loads of different colours. But that was like hyped about, and I feel like they've hyped it, but they haven't hyped it enough.
Well, it depends, because we're not massive fans of. I mean, are we?
I love coffee, but
I love coffee.
I don't own anything Lacoste.
I don't have any fancy clothes.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's Lacoste enthusiasts. Maybe that's who it's aimed at. I don't know. We have to, in the two, you see the inner work and see their demographics. I don't know, but that could be a way they play if they haven't already. But I like it though. They could always develop on it more, and maybe it's go with the marketing using secrecy can sometimes be a thing. So for us, we want to know more from what we're doing for this podcast. But if someone is a fan, they're like, I might check that out because there could be something that only I can get if I go to this.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're leaving it to an assumptive matter.
It was on LinkedIn. I saw it. For anyone that wants to search them out, it's on their official page. So
yeah, drop a comment if you go. Get exclusive green crocodile coffees.
Yeah,
nasty.
Very interesting. I do want to go and try the coffee. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. I don't expect it to be good. I'm not going to post about it, but I want to try the coffee.
Well, if your favourite clothing brand brought out a drink, would you go along?
I guess. I'd want to try it just because I like drink. I like, coffee.
Like, let's say like Nike brought out a fizzy drink. Would you be like, I'm going to go out and get that?
Maybe fizzy drink. Yeah. Nike and coffee don't seem to mix for me. No. But one day I could see them getting in the energy drink game. That makes sense for me. But yeah, I'm not sure because you have to be a super fan around it. I'm not sure how many super fans there are around clothing that aren't the already assumptive. Like, obviously, finding ways to galvanize people like sneakerheads, for instance, for Jordans and all that. That might be a good way to do it. But I'm always, when I think clothes, I'm like, do I like a shirt that much that I would go to a coffee shop? But maybe it's just I'm not a clothes guy. I don't know.
One thing that could work is like, can of water that I drink and Gymshark. That could be a collaboration. Ooh. But I don't know if I wouldn't go out and be like Gymshark's water. I'd just run the tap.
Yeah, right.
So Gymshark electrolytes in that mofo.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do they do crossovers with protein powder already? Like my protein powder. Is it that one?
No, I don't know.
Or if they might, to be fair, that makes sense. They might save that for themselves. Huel makes sense as a collab for them. Absolutely. And I know Bartlett and what's his name, Ben are friendly. So we'll see what comes of that. Is that a prediction? Shouts out. You heard it here first, folks.
Who knows? James, do you have a hot take? Anything random you've noticed or not really?
Yeah, another YouTube trend. Yep. Kind of going like off the back of it, just less depressing. People are now making like try not to get age-gated challenges, which I'm finding quite interesting. Okay. Just riding off the irony of how strict YouTube is. I think it's been a couple of recent videos from Jacksepticeye and Markiplier, but loads of other people have done it. Eye tracking challenges, anime games that shouldn't be on the Steam store, stuff like that. There's loads of really funny examples of it, of just using the platform's weaknesses against it for content. Yeah. And they probably did get age-gated, to be honest. But it galvanizes a lot of things. And when they've got their call to actions for merch, Patreon, whatever they've got in their description, it's always going to pay off for them anyway. Yeah. And seeing if they can get those videos sponsored, I think is quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how many partnerships and brand partnerships are going to be willing to step out of how restrictive YouTube is being. Because there's always been a bit of a counterculture of all the censorship is bad, like especially from stateside. Like, who are you to decide what is bad and what's good? So how many brands are the ones that decide to actually ride on the culture the same as creators and go and kick ass making content that would usually not be supported by a sponsor. That's how a lot of news shows have to get by, because they cover such heavy topics. Then they need a sponsor, and sponsors are just okay with being associated with what they hope is the truth. So that could be an interesting one. But yeah, age-gating content, using it to their advantage.
I think I saw Markiplier's thumbnail about that like yesterday, and I thought that's a weird looking video. I didn't click it, but I'm guessing that's what it is.
It's jokes.
Because I was like, why is he talking? What does that have to do with anything? Yeah.
And it's probably, I think it was both off the back of the Corey Kenshin thing. Right. Like, you might as well make good out of a bad situation, because they get age restricted all the time for the stupidest reasons. So you might as well make content out of it. And that's just like the philosophy for any creator. Oh, well, that happened. Might as well make some content out of it. Yeah. And that's how brands got to think as well. Get slapped with a tax lawsuit. Might as well make content out of it. So, go for it.
Yeah, my hot take is a conspiracy theory.
Hit me.
Started by me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
Today.
Starting in the source. Let's go.
Adam Mosseri is an actor hired by Meta because he's too good to be true.
That's so true. And he had his fake son in his videos the other day as well. Definitely. Or no, they're androids made by Zuck.
Yeah, an android like Zuck himself.
What about him makes you think he's a paid actor?
Just because he's very authentic. I'm obviously having a laugh, but my point is that the authenticity that Adam puts in his videos of, here's a feature that we're testing, tell us what you think.
Yeah, they always make it like, you the people asked for it. And I'm like, could I see the data on that?
Yeah, well, it was based on the update recently that some people had, where, Freddie, you had it, you'd scroll your Instagram feed and it would be post by post. There was no smooth feed.
I didn't use that. As soon as I saw that, it was on my personal. I was like, nah, didn't use it. Straight on the other accounts. One of the worst things they've ever tested. I hope you're listening.
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at is that when they noticed that people hated that, Adam did a video where he said, I realise it's a bad idea. And he straight up said he called the feature bad in his own platform. So, yeah, I'm just having a laugh. Basically saying that sometimes those kind of, boss or heads or CEOs saying these things seem like just incredible, like too good to be true. Where I'm not actually saying he's an actor, but I'm just saying it's funny that someone who's the head of Instagram could be so authentic with a feature that they recognize is bad. Thinking of YouTube is the opposite, because like with YouTube, I think Susan, the most she's ever said about something like that is
we'll look into it.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Something in one of her like end of year reviews. Yeah, like the end of year video that she always releases.
That on YouTube Rewind, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, well, I didn't mean that, but
yeah. I think that's where she said it. But yeah, this is what happens when a brand goes from never being authentic to now trying to be authentic. It comes off as acting or a robot, and I don't trust you. There's so much work you have to put in to get over that. And I think Adam being involved in more long-form content like this, like if he's unedited for an hour every week for the next 1 to 2 years, then maybe I will trust him the same way that you trust a podcaster. But really, you do have to put that level of work in. When you think of the people you listen to online, they put in the man hours for you to actually build a relationship with them. Whether it's built on lies or not, we'll never know. But they've built the trust with us. They've won it, but they won it by manual effort. And I think that's one thing that they get wrong because they only do it in short form video. I think that Instagram would be much better off having a weekly podcast of some kind. We can help you with that if you need. But I think that might help at least. I think I'd trust him more if I got to sit down and listen to him for an hour. For all we know, the Instagram do have a podcast. I just don't listen to it. But they haven't really shouted about it enough for me to know it exists. So that's them problem, really.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that authenticity from Adam just will surprise me in a good way, but it just makes you go,
Yeah. Like, because it's like if Jack Dorsey randomly started doing those videos, if Elon Musk started doing those videos, like who else is Susan would just start doing them, we wouldn't believe them.
Yeah, I think it's a similar thing. It's too good to be true in my head.
Could you imagine Twitter and Elon Musk doing one? Shambles, all that. Not even getting into it this episode.
Yeah,
I think it's still wrapped up in a lawsuit around that, aren't they?
Yeah, so a judge, this is what I found out this morning, is a judge has ruled that they must provide more data now. He was dropping off, now he's not. Went to a court, now they must provide this data that he wants.
Oh, Elon, you best have some deep pockets, mate. There's theories that he pulled out because he didn't actually have the capital to buy Twitter. That's all locked up in other stuff, which I would believe. It's not like he has 44 billion in cash sitting around anywhere. He'd have to leverage or sell something else. And if I was to guess, there's vital stakes in like SpaceX and the Boring Company that you can't afford to give up, that you'd have to buy Twitter, they wouldn't be worth it for whatever future plan you'd be working on. But that's just a theory.
A James.
Was that Matt?
Everyone's coming up with their own theories today.
Yeah. Conspiracy.
Mate, this is what takes. It should be.
Yeah, forget hot takes. We've now become the conspiracy podcast.
Take the red pill.
Yeah. Which one of us is Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Which one's Joe
Turn
Rogan?
the frogs game.
Yeah. So good. I think that's our social media chat for the week, innit? We've all covered our hot takes and Insta.
We have.
Stuff. Yeah.
It's gotten heated.
Very exciting stuff. If you like the sound of any of this, then please give us a follow, give us a like. Tell us in the comments whether you liked or hated what we were saying, if you agree or disagree. But for now, my name is George. We've also had
Freddie.
And we've also had
James.
And we're going to see you in the next episode of the Shogun Social Media Podcast.
See you.
Bye.